All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning into another episode of When Coffee Meets Tea, the podcast. My name is Rob Gerard.
I'm Denise Bertolovitz,
How you
cracking up over here.
cracking up over here?
Cracking
All
up.
right. The stuff that goes on behind the scenes is wet and wild.
You know what? That could be interpreted a lot of different ways. There's just a lot of laughter here. That's all I could say. And yes, wet and wild in the terms of I almost just spit my water out everywhere.
Exactly.
Literally.
So yeah, another podcast episode. Happy to be here. It's I'm loving what the podcast has kind of turned into, and it feels like we are really starting to establish, who we are and what we do, and we're establishing a listener base and a viewership, whether if it's on YouTube or Instagram. It seems like the Instagram though is probably more live than anything, right?
Yeah, Instagram is really fun, I have to say, because, it's interesting. There's not as much engagement as Facebook, meaning people knowing each other. But I think on Instagram, this is my opinion, people are looking for um, encouragement, right? Motivation. You have a lot of fitness people, motivational
Yep.
speakers, products. People sell products. It's really a fun place to be. I have to say, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think Instagram and this is coming from a older millennial. I'm barely a millennial. I like just crept in like the first 2 years. So you can't fully take my word for it. I remember like 10 years ago, no kids were on Facebook and it was all about Instagram. And now it almost seems like no kids are on Instagram. It's all about TikTok and Snapchat.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Well, and Snapchat, I did hear something very,
Well, Denise,
very
you just
sad the
started
other
a
day.
MySpace profile last week, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, man, you're not supposed to tell anybody about that.
Yep.
That's
So,
why, old school dating thing.
yep,
No,
absolutely.
oh God,
And Paul,
no.
the intern, just started a
No.
Grinder account. I don't know what that is, but he told me it was something. I don't know
Oh
what
my
that
God,
is.
did you see that on the news the other day? They said online dating is skyrocketing. That even with the pandemic, I guess because they have virtual dating and that more people are dating than ever online. And it's probably obviously because people aren't going out. And then also, too, I mean, think about it. If you're single and you're isolated, you're alone, you want to have somebody to talk to, right? So
Yeah,
why not talk to strangers? I mean,
yeah.
not that your mother told you not to, but why not?
Well, and I love the memes or the commentary they talk about, like Uber or
Sure.
social media, and they're like, growing up, my mom always used to say, "Don't talk to strangers and don't get in the cars with people you don't know." But that is literally exactly what society and our community has
Yeah.
turned into.
Yep.
Is
It's
really
funny,
just
right?
kind of jumping right in there, and I think about when my dog barks now. Usually he barks because there's someone on our property.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even flinch. I don't even, because it's probably an Amazon delivery truck.
Oh, yeah, right. And as I have to go back to the other thing, I was laughing because as you're sitting there saying that your parents taught you not to talk to strangers, my mom now will go somewhere and I'm talking away, talking to everybody. And she's like, we get back in the car. She just gives me that eye. She's like, I really wish I taught you to not talk to strangers.
Wow. Wow.
Because I love talking to people. There's
Yeah.
so much to learn. It's like and then of course, every once in a while I do the I probably shouldn't have talked to them.
Yep.
That was not good, but
Well,
yeah, Amazon trucks,
yeah.
UPS trucks. I mean, everybody's shopping online, so
Yeah,
yeah.
so to go back to the social media thing, and that's kind of what the topic is today is, kind of the social media expectations. Now, there are so many pros and cons to being on social media and to all of that, that I'm sure has been done to death and covered in things that we've talked about on previous episodes, and we will probably talk about on future episodes. But what do you think being on social media has truly done to the mental health or psyche of just the average person, Denise? What do you think?
Wow. Okay. So
I mean, it's a huge question.
huge question. Okay. So I personally think that there's nothing wrong with social media if you are a confident person going into it and knowing what you want to look at and knowing what to step away from. Okay, so do I think social media has destroyed society? No. Do I think it's changed society? Yes, definitely. I do not think it's destroyed it, though, because I think that when it comes to social media, there is so much good, but again, human behavior, there's also bad because we create the bad, right? So you
Mm.
look at that and you have to say, okay, where do I find my balance? So for me, I enjoy social media. I like it because I can help people and I know my limits. I do not talk to men. I do not talk to strangers. Obviously there's hacking. There's things that people can do that are just not right, right? So
Yep.
there's a balance. However, okay, let's say I was in my 20s or a child and I was naive, or I don't know, maybe I'm from a dysfunctional family, I'm looking for love, I might end up talking to the wrong person. Recently there was a story, actually, Dr. Laura Berman, who I am a big fan of her. I love her. She has a great show, again, gives a lot of great advice, and she has a 16-year old son. Very sad. The story is out in public that he found a drug dealer on Snapchat, and the drug dealer sent the drugs to his home, and she found him. Unfortunately, he's passed away, and she was able to find out this information through the friends, and she did everything she could to supervise her son, and they were great parents. So again, it was a person dealing drugs, again, bad choices, sadly, and again, human behavior.
Yeah.
But social media technology, no different than radio years ago, we can get great things out.
And
Okay.
I think when it comes to the internet, social media, and I agree, I don't think it's completely destroyed society because that's like, I hate when politicians or people say, just in general, like, well, I didn't want to tell them because I didn't think they can handle it. Like, listen, we can handle it. So
Mm.
I'm not saying that society and that people are not capable of handling the responsibility of the internet. But what I'm saying is, it is absolutely, um, it could be extremely dangerous, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I do agree with that. And I'll tell you from a female perspective, in, obviously being a mentor, and I mean, if I could have, if I had kids, I probably would have had, like, love to have had like 8 girls and a couple boys just to make sure that they were okay,
listen,
beat them up,
I
beat
could
up any boys
totally
that
see
came after
you.
them.
You know how some women are like, mom of boy, boy mom, and I could totally see you having girls.
I love that because I think about that. And here's the thing where I was going with that was that my perspective as a female is it's sad because I feel that young girls have grown up too fast because of social media. I feel that they feel challenged to be older than they are, that they really can't be their true authentic self because they can't. I guess they have to keep up with what society's doing, and you cannot tell me that there aren't many of those girls that are still wanting to enjoy dolls or sleeping with a teddy bear, but they're never going to say that on social media because they have to mature so fast and they're being taught and educated so much more. It's like innocence is taken away. And I read something the other day. It said that social media is not the problem. The problem is the user. So, for example, using social media in marriage is not a problem. It's the person who chooses to be sneaky and deceitful. That's the problem.
Mm.
So, because again, it's easier to get in touch with, I guess, someone that if they're home, they're alone and they're not busy and they want attention, or, whatever the case may be. It's no different for an adult than a child or a teenager. It's giving them more resources, more things to get in trouble, I guess, if you want to call it trouble.
Wow.
Growing up too fast, making bad choices.
And it's so weird as human beings, right? I feel like, like I think of, and I'm gonna go big, huge picture here. Like I think about America, right? So America's been around for a couple hundred years now, and we did some really messed up stuff in this country, and slowly, finally, it took us a long time, but it seems like we're starting to kind of figure things out with just
Mm,
equal rights, with with all the movements of anti-racism, and so it took a long time for us to really see what was wrong. Or should I say, it took a long time for the majority to see what was wrong,
mm.
and then finally things are moving in the right direction. I almost feel that way about social media and the internet because it seems like I mean the internet has been around since like early 90s, but it kind of really came to relevance probably about 20 years ago, and finally in the last few years there's this movement, it seems like, with women of like anti-photoshop,
Mm-hmm.
anti-airbrushed. I love when I see girls and men too on like Instagram, and they're like me sucking in and flexing versus reality, and it's like it shows them
Yeah.
like, oh, so they do have a little bit of a spare tire. Oh, they really do have a little bit of extra meat right there, and
The dad bod.
the dad bod, exactly. So I love the fact that for women, pencil thin is not the norm and the desired thing
Yeah.
as much anymore. And same thing with men, because we have those same kind of expectations. Not all men could be built like Paul the intern. Sometimes they're built like me, the dad bod. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing.
It's the confidence, right? It's body image confidence, and and I'm glad that you said that, because when you talk about the people that do that, okay, it's a very small portion. Let's be real.
Mm.
It is a very small portion of people that are brave enough to get out there and just be their real self. And where I'm going with social media in the bad aspect, again, I like social media because it has resources that spread the word faster. So instead of an old pigeon carrier, or,
Like when you were younger.
when I was younger and delivering the message on the horse, it's a faster way of communicating. However, it is giving people performance, how do I say it?
Performance anxiety?
I'm going to get into that in just a minute. It's actually making them performers. So what I'm saying is, I truly believe that people are not going to be their true authentic self because they're performing. And then what happens? They get performance anxiety. So I'm going to look at 10,000 social media pages, and doesn't matter if I'm a teenager or if I'm a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old, whatever the case may be, I'm going to say, well, look at all these people and look at, well, they're more popular. Or, you know what? I need to kind of be like that. So now you're giving yourself anxiety trying to live up to try to be something that you're not, instead of just being simple and being truly who you are.
I'm
Okay. Like, I'm all over the place. I mean, this is who I am. I dress up one day and I can wear high heels and a ball gown and go to a gala event. And the next day I'll be swinging a hammer. And the next day I'll be driving an ATV. But that's how I grew up. I mean, I always say my dad taught me how to shoot a gun, and my mom taught me how to walk in high heels. So
mm.
that is my true authentic self. But then there are some people that are just doing things because they're performing. And then the question there is, are they doing themselves justice? Because what happens? They're hurting their own self esteem.
Well, and yeah, and you're definitely right about that. But what I would also say is maybe that's their journey of trying to figure out who they are. So
Wow,
like
that's true,
so I
right?
just
Yeah.
reached out to someone to see if I could start doing golf lessons because I really want to be able to play golf. Yeah,
Sweet.
so I really want to be
That's
able. Yes,
awesome.
but here's the thing though. So does that mean I'm just trying to act like a golfer? Or does that mean if I post a picture of myself doing golf lessons on Instagram, does that mean I'm trying to portray a golfer? Does that mean I'm just trying to find myself? So there
Or
is
just
this,
enjoying your life,
yeah,
right?
I'm, and Paul and I were talking about this before. Sometimes you have to kind of quit what you're doing or jump into something else to kind of figure out if that's what you want. If that's what you want to do. It could be
Ooh,
careers, it could
true.
be pastimes, it could be passions,
Yep,
it could be your partner. Could say,
yep.
you know what? Listen, I think we need to take a break because if we don't, I might not ever know if the grass is greener on the other side, and I don't want to have this thought of what if. So sometimes you got to kind of take that risk
Right?
and
Take a chance.
yeah, figure out who you are. And
Yep.
one thing I want to say about social media, which I love, okay, and this is just one example, but social media has given so many people careers. And I think that's a
Oh
great
yeah,
thing, like a
yeah,
mom blogger, right? A mom
yeah.
vlogger. So moms are, and they're kind of performing to an extent. Don't get me wrong. Some of these mom bloggers are performing without a doubt. But moms are getting paid now to document raising their kids, which is amazing to me. It's extremely empowering for women to be getting paid to do something they've been doing all along anyways.
Right, and to be at home too, which is
And
nice to
to,
be able to raise their
yeah, to
child.
be at
And
home.
I mean, there's, yeah, definitely a big thing there. And so this is where I say, okay, social media is good also from that perspective,
Yeah.
creating careers, creating confidence, but it can also
Fitness
deplete you.
instructors.
Fitness instructors
I
and
mean, there's so many,
virtual
but yeah.
now.
Yep.
But then I look and I say, okay, I guess what I'm saying is social media is a great resource. And as long as people are remembering that they have nothing to prove to anybody else but themselves, then they're okay. Because the minute you start going on there and trying to prove your worth or trying to prove that you can do something like someone else, look at some of these extreme things where people, oh God, it's horrible. They take these pictures on cliffs and like some of them have died because
Oh
they're
my
trying to
God, I know.
prove that, oh, they're adventurous
I
and,
know.
these things. And I think, okay, you know what? Again, social media, it is great as long as you are not trying to prove your worth or trying to be something that you're not. That's it. It's sharing who you truly are, and you don't have to share everything. Let me just kind of
Well,
go there with that
well,
one too,
and
because
let me say,
sometimes I'm like,
I disagree.
TMI.
I disagree with you on this. I disagree with you on this because I think that social media can be a place where maybe we can be someone different. Because what if we truly don't like who we are and we are looking for something to feel good about? So why not?
Hmm.
Why not? Post something that in the short term will make me feel a little bit better, even if in the long term it's not the long term answer. At least in the short term I can post something to feel good about. Now, in my opinion, I have no issue with that. If people want to post, maybe a false narrative about what their life is, to me, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to say I co-sign that or I do that myself, but I'm fine with that. My only thing would be as long as you're not hurting anyone in the process. To me,
Absolutely.
that's the thing. If
Yep.
you are using your online presence to be negative in any sort of way, which we know there's plenty of out there,
Mm.
that's my only thing. And I've seen a lot of that, especially when it comes to, obviously politics. When it comes to politics, people just posting a lot of negativity and making very, very black and
Yes.
white
Yes.
statements.
Or religion too. I have seen people make comments on, maybe a woman has a shirt that's a little bit low cut, and I've seen religious people make comments, and, that's where I'm like, wait a minute, that's judgment. And that's just that person wanting to wear that outfit. That doesn't mean they're a sinner. So,
Yeah.
again, it's freedom of speech, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it that
Yeah.
matters. And even if it's your business to be able to say it, and I was just going to say, damn you, Rob, why do you always have to challenge me in the status
Listen,
quo?
no, listen, because here's what I'm
I was
thinking,
like,
right?
wait.
Here's what I'm thinking, right? Like I definitely have had to act as if before. Sometimes I've had to fake it till I make it kind of thing. So if
Oh,
if
that's
I'm someone that
yep.
is generally if I'm a negative person generally, or I'm just a very depressed person, and maybe I'm struggling with clinical depression, but here I am, I'm posting a selfie of myself with a big smile and saying, "Listen, sometimes you have to smile." And then and then maybe my friends and family are like, "Why is Rob posting that? We know he's a negative SOB. Like why is he trying to fool people? We know he's not that happy." Well, for me, maybe that's me trying to fake it till I make it and try to get myself out of my funk. So, and that's why I think as long as I'm not hurting anyone, like go ahead, post it. If you want to fake the funk, if you want to act as if you want to, do all that, because sometimes you need to bring your ass if you want your mind to follow, kind of thing. So
Oh my God,
if I
totally. Yep.
truly want to be happy, if I truly want to live a spiritual life, even though I'm still out sinning, sometimes I do have to put that energy out there. Sometimes I got to put out there like, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm definitely trying to be as close to perfection as I can.
God bless the sinners. God bless the
You
sinners.
know what I
You know,
mean?
hey, we're all sinners saved by grace.
I have a friend that always says, bless his heart.
Oh, that's
Bless
so
her
cute.
heart.
Bless his heart.
Listen, that's a down south thing, and
It is.
basically, when they say that, you can use that phrase for so many things, right? Like, you could want to curse someone out up and down, but instead you just look and shake your head and say, bless her heart.
Your heart. Wow.
Bless your heart.
I might have to use that one. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that a lot.
Oh yeah.
And and I'm sitting here and I'm smiling, and the watchers on YouTube are probably like, "What is she doing?" I'm over here and I'm thinking to myself, "This is what Rob does," which is so awesome because we have these conversations, and then I'm like, "Oh crap, he's right." Like in the sense
You
of
changed
this,
my mind just as much. Are you kidding me?
I love it because we have this dialogue, and now I'm thinking, wait a minute, okay, so social media, fake it till you make it. So
Sometimes you
okay,
gotta.
I'm gonna come to Jesus, and I'm just gonna come right out and say it that there have been days, even recently, that I'm still working on my inner self, and I have some struggles going on, and some things on how I think, and I
Yep.
have to talk myself into going on there, and I might have literally been emotional or struggling on what to say, and there's days I don't post because I'm really sad or I'm upset about something,
Yeah.
not angry, I'm just upset,
Isn't that the great?
and I'm thinking, wait, I'm swinging the hammer, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but in the meantime, I had a hard time all weekend getting out of bed, or I had a hard time motivating myself, or
Yeah.
I can't be on time, or all these things. And I'm thinking, and to your point, that is why I got back on social media. I got back on social media because I wanted to remember who I once was. So I have some struggles going on, but when I post a picture of myself swinging a hammer, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. This is what I do. Or I, post a picture of me in a nice dress, or I'm giving a quote on how I feel. It's because that some people journal. Social media to me is my journaling. I'm speaking about feelings, and when I'm speaking to others, oftentimes I'm speaking to myself. Like I just posted one about complaining. Stop complaining and find your happiness, because you know what? It's time for you to be happy. You deserve that. And I was really almost talking to myself because I was thinking, oh my God, the reason why I came up with that video, it just came right out of, I did a couple takes and I was like, this came to my heart because that was me.
Wow.
I was spending so much time complaining instead of, wait a minute, step back and think of the good,
Wow.
because it is time for me to be happy, and it's time for everybody to be happy. And this is my friend, Happy.
Absolutely.
And this is when Rob's like, oh boy.
Listen, she grabbed one of these stress ball
I love this
guys.
guy.
He looks like the Charmin guy. He's like,
He's my new boyfriend.
and she just grabbed it, and now she's sitting with him, and I have a
I
feeling
know.
she's gonna take him home. I'm
I
not
am.
sure.
I'm gonna be like the sinner and the saint.
Nice, nice. Well, guys, with that being said, we are just about out of time, and yeah, when it comes to social media, listen, I heard this great analogy, right? How men use the internet for porn, and women use the internet for basically like Instagram and mom blogging.
You're discriminating.
So hold on. But basically though, you get basically what this analogy said was women get the same thing out of the Instagram that men get from porn. So basically that's women porn. So stop shaming men.
I know, I was just
Stop
teasing. I was
shaming
laughing.
men.
No, I wasn't, because I was going to laugh and say, and what makes you think women don't use the internet
There
for
you
porn?
go.
Give me a break.
Right? So
Sorry, Mom.
so yeah, no, but social media, listen, I don't care if you are faking the funk, if you are being your true legit self, if you are being the person you are hoping to be one day. I don't care what you're doing, as long as you're not spreading negativity, as long as you
Yeah.
don't, you're not just constantly putting people down, as long as you don't have burner profiles that that you
Hurting
use
others.
just to hurt others. It's like, you know what? Listen, spread love, not war, all that kind of stuff. And I think as long as we are responsible with our social media use, I think that it can continue to be utilized to change the world in a good way.
I love that you said that, and we are. I mean, society's growing. I don't mean to beef and moan and say all these
No,
things,
no.
but we definitely are growing as a society. I think
Yeah.
we're learning how to use it more effectively, and I do think it's great. And you know what? Hey, I learned something about myself today too. And I have occasionally gotten performance anxiety. That's why I spoke about it, because
Yeah.
and it's not because I'm trying to compare myself to others. I'm trying to compare myself to my old self, where the old Denise, 5, 6 years ago could just jump on there and be like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm like, oh my gosh.
You know what, though?
And it's because of just some emotional words and things that were said to me. And I think, am I being fake? Am I not myself? But then I'm like, damn it, I
No.
am myself.
Yep.
You know?
That's you.
So
That you're wrapped up in that old that complicated, confident yet insecure kind of Denise. I think that we all have that confident, insecure Denise living inside us,
yeah.
and I think one thing I want to leave with you, Denise, is listen, just dare to be bold and positive.
Oh my God, that
You know?
brings back really good memories. Yup.
DBP,
Amen.
and
Amen.
yeah,
Amen to that.
just dare to be bold and positive. And what that told me is, when I hear that phrase, dare to be bold and positive, what that tells me is dare to take risks, but do it with a kind heart.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about, right? At the end, I think about that too. It's, everybody from a social media perspective, a lot of people like to show their wealth or their things. And, we're born with nothing, we die with nothing. All we have in between are the experiences, the memories, how we treat people, how others treat us, right? So the kindness is what it matters.
And you know what, too?
know?
When people post their possessions, or they post things that maybe a lot of people can't afford or don't have, I tell you, I look at that as motivation for me, man. And I know you and I have talked about this before. I am always looking for these weird ways or unique ways to get a mental edge. And I don't mean a mental edge over people, but just a mental edge in life. So when I see people post something that maybe I strive for or that I want, I take that energy and I manifest it into motivation for myself.
Yes, thank you for saying that, because again, I'm going with that is, it's not what you show, it's how you show it.
Yeah.
So, for example, like house flippers. I love following house flippers. Why? Because that's what I've done before from small perspective, and I always dream of, wow.
Wait,
like,
are you
I
talking
can
about
totally...
the guys that do flips off of roofs?
Oh, those are pretty cool
Into
too.
pools?
Yeah,
Is that
I'm
what
not
you're
gonna
talking
lie,
about?
that's pretty cool. No, house flippers, like in terms of buy an old foreclosed horrible house and then you flip it, right? Make some
Yes.
profit off of it, like flip flop.
Listen,
Right?
we need to do a
these.
real estate episode one day.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
we're gonna put that into the cards, and
Yes.
then over the course of the next month or so, let's do a real estate episode, because I think that there are. I've never met anyone that would be like, I don't want to do it unless they've done it and not had success. Most people
True.
are like, I would love to do that. So
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's
Yeah.
people can do this without having much money at all.
Yeah, and women can do it too on their
yeah.
own. I mean, I do have friends that are single
In high heels.
that have done this. Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
in work boots, whatever you want to wear.
Work boots are much more comfortable.
Yes.
Trust me, I know from experience.
Yep.
But I mean, I'd love to do that. I'd
All
love
right.
love to do that.
So with that being said, guys, we are going to wrap up this episode of When Coffee Meets Tea. We definitely want to give a big shout out to Candlewood Coffee, our coffee sponsor, who has been helping us continue to push the Robbie's Roast Coffee blend and Denise's Upbeat Positivity.
Positivity. Drink this, and
Yep.
you can have a new boyfriend too.
Absolutely. And want to say thank you to Paul the intern for always being here with us and helping us on our visual side. So if you want to see what he can do on the visual side, definitely check out our Instagram. We're always posting clips, and we're always posting stuff on our YouTube every single episode. So yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This was great.
Thank you. Keep killing it on your social media. Again, enjoy,
Absolutely.
post.
And you know what?
Post
However
away.
you want to brand yourself, listen,
That's right.
brand yourself. Do it. Brand yourself however you want to do it.
Brand it, baby.
Just like you said, keep killing it,
It's true.
Yeah.
right?
And yeah. So with that being said, I'm Rob Gerard.
I'm Denise Bertolovitz.
Have a good one, guys.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You can check out other episodes of our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts are streamed. Find us on Instagram at When Coffee Meets Tea Podcast or www.whencoffeemeetstea.com. Rob and Denise want to thank the listeners.